Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Good afternoon. 12:34 Colorado time on the eastern slope. Blistering hot. Well, not yet. It's 89 degrees. It's supposed to get back up into high 90s, which is actually the low 100s. I don't know how they figure that out. It's been hot. It's supposed to be hot for the next couple weeks. No rain forecast. Dry. I don't know what the humidity is. Probably 20, I would guess. Colorado stays right around 20 in the summertime. We're supposed to be in a rainy season. Supposed to start getting rainy this time of the year, but not happening. Climate has changed. Climate has changed, and everything's a lot drier and warmer. So, just been going all morning since probably 7. Just got back home, grabbed myself a glass of iced tea, decaf, delish, and headed out east, take a look at the house, see how the house is progressing, and do a podcast. Podcast today is, I did my blog early this morning on it, being creative. And I had so much fun doing the blog, I thought, well, let's do a podcast on that one. Because a lot of people misconstrue being creative. They think being creative is just all positive, positive, positive. And I'm here to show you a podcast that being creative is good or bad, positive or negative. So here's the deal. We've been through this one. You know, you can think yourself into being sick. You can think yourself into having a disease. Well, it's no different than being creative enough to make yourself sick and have a disease. So if you can think something, you're creating it. Let me say that one more time. If you can think something, positive or negative, right, you're creating it. So if you can think yourself into having a disease, and that's what people do because it's not genetic, right? Well, then you're creating that disease. Nobody's given that to you. That's not biology. That's not chemistry. That's you being creative. Now, granted, it might be on a subconscious level. It might not be out of anger and frustration, hostility, resentment, all that kind of stuff that's on the conscious side. It may be out of a subconscious side, you know, under the surface. You're creating sort of this passive-aggressive disease. Follow me on that? So, you end up with a disease, right? Boy, there's plenty of people out there that are sick and ill and with disease diagnosis, trauma, all kinds of bad things going on. Well, I got to tell you, they did that. And they created that. And nobody gave it to them. So, you can create negative as much as you can create positive. Okay, so what's the other side of the coin, right? If you can think yourself sick, you can think yourself well, right? We've talked about that, everybody on that page. So you can be creative and think yourself well. You can be creative and think about designing a new life for yourself. You can be creative and think and design a new you for yourself. One that you like, one that's positive, one that's healthy. You can be creative both negatively and positively. So the question that comes out this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, is which way do you create? Do you get mad and create out of hostility negative things? Are you passive aggressive? Are you subversive? Do you do things in spite of? You get all that, yeah? Or do you create out of love? Do you create out of joy, out of happiness? Out of oneness, out of wholeness? Yeah? Follow me on that? Which is it that you do? Which is it that you do? When the program talks about designing a new you, being somebody that you're not. Remember Dr. Joe talks about that? Leaving the old person behind, being somebody that you're not. Sit down and think about being somebody that you're not. Create that person. Design that person. Design that personality. Create that personality. Create that lifestyle. Create that new you. You're perfectly capable of doing that. You have the power of creation in you. You have the divine in you. The problem is that, and we've been down this road before too, people don't believe it. People don't believe they can create. People don't believe they can design. They can create a new you, a new self, a new person, a new personality. Right? If they thought they could, if they knew they could, they would. If you're standing around living in a life that's incomplete, that's not making you happy or loving, if you have a lack of joy in your life, you don't believe you're capable of changing that, or you would do it. Why would you stay in that state, right? State. It's how you act and how you feel. Why would you stay in that state, that negative state, unless you believed it was impossible to change? Why would you not change? Why would you not change? People don't change for that exact reason. They don't believe they can. They don't believe they have the power to do that. It's not complicated. What about the people that are the opposite side of the extreme? Happy and joyful and loving and caring and compassionate, and they work at it every day. I mean, you look at them, you talk to them, and they're excited about what they're doing different for themselves and for others. They're creating a future. They're creating a new self. They believe they are divine. They believe, as Dr. Joe says, they are supernatural. They can create. They have the power to create, to change, to be somebody they're not. It's really pretty much that simple, you guys. You either have it or you don't have it. So the challenge, and it's just a challenge, go out, I don't know, give yourself a week, something kind of easy. Pick out some parts or aspects of your personality, that's fair. And just say, I am uncomfortable with the way I blah, blah, blah. Whatever that aspect of your personality is, right? And just give yourself a week and see if you can change that. And have an idea of a creation, of the opposite of that. If that's if what you're changing is a negative, then create a positive alternative to that. Just pick one thing. Don't pick the whole world, the whole self, the whole personality. Just pick one aspect of your personality. And give yourself a week and just work on creating a new you in that particular realm. Make sense? Everybody with me on that? We don't need to practice creating a negative. Because as you all know, listening to this podcast, that we are more than capable of creating a negative. We all know that. We do that all the time. That's very common. That's mundane. That's routine. That's being human. We've learned how to create the negative aspects, which in turn upregulate genes that cause disease, illness, and sickness. This is not rocket science, you guys. How you got to where you are this morning listening to me, or this afternoon listening to me. This is not rocket science. Somebody from outer space didn't come down and design your personality. You did that. If you're unhappy, you did that. If you're happy, you did that. If you're living in lack, you did that. If you're living in abundance, you did that. If you struggle every day, you did that. If you find life is just a pleasure every day, you did that. You create every single moment, waking nanosecond of your life. You create it, for better or for worse. I have people that get upset with me. I've talked about this before. Because I might say, let me give you an example rather than that. Let me give you an example. When I was doing clinical, right, and I was dealing with compulsive disorders, Here's an example. This is what happens when you stay in the business for 43 years. When you work the program for 43 years, right? This is what happens. I would have a group, you're always doing, 5 groups a week, or who knows. There are 2-3 hour groups every night. Or you got a group of people together, and you say to them, look here's the green board, the white board, the black board, whatever you want to call it. Here's 7 steps. Here's 5, depending on what I was working on. If you follow these 5 steps, you will create a life without addiction. What? You have to do every step. You cannot miss a step. You cannot skip a step. And I would explain to him, here's the steps. I'm going to give you the steps right now. I'm going to write them down. Write these down. Take them home. Put them in your purse. Put them in your wallet. I don't care. If you do them, you will create a non-compulsive, behaviored lifestyle. That's simple. If you don't do it, if you only do 90%, 92%, 88%, you will not create a life without compulsion. Nobody would do it. Well, yeah, there would be 1 or 2 that would do it. Maybe out of a group of 18, I'd get 1 or 2. Why are there so many people with compulsive disorders? They don't believe they have the capability of creating a better life for themselves. Same things right here. How do you build a life without disease? I don't know. I wish I had you all here right now. I'd put it up on the board. I'd put the steps. Here's 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 steps, whatever it happens to be. If you do 100% of these, you will not have disease. You will have created a better life for yourself, disease-free. So, the money just keeps rolling into my PayPal account. Oh, golly. I probably ought to get some gas here one of these days, you guys. If you could send your pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars, $5, $10, $20. Please, 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 please. Send it, put it into my PayPal account. jzager@gmail.com. That's all you need to know. You have to have a PayPal account of your own, of course. But you can always do that real quick. And just transfer. All you're doing is transferring. Let's see, I'm going to transfer John 2 quarters today. I'm happy, happy, happy. I'm not complaining. I'm going to transfer John $1.75. I'm happy, 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 you guys. I'm not a greedy person. I'm self-supporting. I do this because I love doing what I do. And I don't want to work for Walmart or Home Depot. I don't want to do that. Good golly. So anyway, go ahead and send me some money, and that's how it would happen. And I appreciate it, and thank you in advance. God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I look forward to talking to you all again real soon. See you. Bye.